mentioned, we work around some dynamic people, and we're just so glad to meet all of you. And so we've really been kind of taking turns and having people kind of tell their story. You know, we're all about women empowerment, and so everybody has a story about what they made them who they are, and good or bad, or how they overcame an obstacle, or what something that impacted their life. And so tonight we have a really tremendous woman who's going to be talking. Her name is Adrienne, and I met Adrienne pretty recently, but I already feel like she's family. She's just a hoot. And she's a really great lady. And she came to us because she actually makes her own apothecary products. And so she is already, little like Christina, like formulating things and selling them. And so she knows a lot about wellness and so forth. And so what she's done is she's merged her apothecary brand with the Ndulge brand. So she also reps us as a wholesaler, and our product is now in a bunch of places in North Carolina. She's in North Carolina, and she's just a dynamo powerhouse of a woman, and so and a mother. And please let me introduce her, Adrienne. And we can't wait to hear what you want to say. She's a true beauty.
Hello. Hi, I'm Adrienne. I am originally from Hartwell, Georgia, but currently living in middle of nowhereville, North Carolina. So if you're ready, I want to talk to you guys about choosing between either to evolve or dissolve. Okay, so these are choices that we face every single day, evolve or dissolve. And 2020 for everyone, I feel like, has just been a little bit rough, no matter at what type of community that you're in. And I know that sometimes we have to make choices that are very, very, very terrifying, and that can spark anxiety, that can spark depression, which also can be caused by a chemical imbalance. I'm sure you've heard that a million times, but for me personally, I've been diagnosed with depression, social anxiety. So the fact I'm even on this call right now and talking to people and not, hiding in my room or anything, and just with my paint and my notepads, and just, which is how I got into creating everything in the first place, and really trying to build my own formulas and researching, years and years and years of researching, so that I could better myself, help my children, help my family, and try to live in a more sustainable world, a more sustainable economy, and that's really my end game. But let's rewind a long time ago, when I was 17. When I did live in Georgia, it was a very, very small town. Imagine a one red light, that's it. We did eventually get a super Walmart, so that was kind of interesting. But other than that, we didn't really have much. And with being coming from a small southern town, there are traditions that are inherited in the community, and there was a lot of disdain towards anything that didn't fit the mold, anything that was different. If you weren't originally from that town, it was a little bit more difficult if you were an outsider. My mother was an immigrant from the Philippines. She came over to the United States when she was about 21 years old, when she met my dad. My dad is this doomsday prepping Scottish Highlander. He's amazing as well. Another not fit the mold, my brother, he was a visionary. He was an artist instead of an athlete. And in our town, football was life. If you didn't play football, well, you weren't a man. That was the kind of mentality growing up there. And then here was me, the hodgepodge hippie that just kind of floated around and did her own thing. I didn't really have a clique or a sense of belonging anywhere. I didn't feel like I belonged. And even to this day, I still feel like there's not an actual particular place that I do belong to. And that's all about part of what I'm going to talk about tonight, and that's evolving beyond your environment, evolving beyond your community, beyond the things you hear in the media, beyond the things that people tell you to try to hold you down or hold you back. Evolve beyond it until you are bigger, you are larger than the depression, the anxiety, the disdain, the disgusting remarks you get from people, the people that don't understand your vision because they can't see your vision, right? So I left. I was tired of being in an environment that wasn't conducive to my success. So when I was 17 years old, I took the little bit of money that I had and I moved to, of all places, Charleston, South Carolina. I was like, this sounds like a good idea. Charleston sounds cool. So I moved there. I grew up. I got married for the first time, had my first child, my first divorce. That was fun. And surviving as a single mom. And one of the many journeys that really changed me was going through Charleston. One of the biggest changes in my life, moving away from home, but then also having to deal with all these tremendous life-changing things. But it wasn't bigger than me. At the end of the day, it wasn't bigger than me. I was the only thing that could stop me. So I just kept moving. 10 years, true love, second marriage, second child, and some career changes later, I found myself surrounded by the perfect life on paper. I had left my career in financial management to become a housewife, something I never thought I'd want to ever do in my whole life. Big house, nice cars, two beautiful, healthy children, a life of excess, and a husband who literally worships the ground I walk on. That's no joke. This man would literally lay down on the ground so I could walk across him so I wouldn't have to touch the floor. He's wonderful. And he accepts me for me. I had it all. I was literally a 1950s American wet dream, but buried deep beneath the money, the love, the stability, and the freedom, I was a literal massive ball of depression. Deep inside, beneath the surface, I couldn't even stand to look myself in the mirror because I thought all these incredibly harsh thoughts that I never thought I would think about myself, thoughts that I would never want to hear from anyone else, much less me. So I went to a doctor and I was diagnosed with depression, social anxiety, and just severe anxiety in general. Oh, by the way, that's Seth. I love him. Not my husband, the brother husband. If you know me, you understand it. If you don't, it's okay. It's not, and he's not really my brother husband, more like a brother. Also kind of husband, platonically. So anyways, so when I found out I had depression, what was wrong with me, why I wasn't happy, why I was never satisfied, why I just was constantly trying to look for that place of belonging, that place where I could feel happiness, where I could feel joy, where I was bigger than what my brain wanted me to feel. I was just relieved that that I did have it, honestly. I mean, not really. If I had the choice tomorrow, someone's like, hey, I'll snap my fingers and you just won't have depression or anxiety, I'd be like, yes, sign me up. I want to do that. But it's not that simple. So I got on the right medications because it turns out the part of my brain that makes serotonin is not doing its job. So after lots of testing, if you think you might have mental illness, please get tested. Even if you think like, oh, I'm just sad, like, 9 out of 10 days, that's just me, I'm a Pisces, whatever your reasoning may be, please do not ever hesitate to ask a doctor, which in my case, I asked my OB. So it doesn't even have to be like an actual like therapist. It doesn't have to be, it can literally be anyone, any doctor, please. And they will, if they're a good doctor, point you in the right direction and they'll get you the help that you need. Luckily, my OB cared enough about me, which, I mean, he delivered my child, so I guess he knows me better than most. But yeah, he put me on the right medications. I started feeling a little better, kind of, all right, like this is working, I guess. I started keeping a journal. I started going to therapy. I got the help that I needed. I got the right guidance. And I figured out that what's going on in here, it's easier for me to kind of make it an entity. My depression is a person, and it's something I become friends with in a way. I don't have this resentment or hatred towards it because it's not anything that my brain can help or that I can help. It's literally beyond my control. It's science. But if you do need help, definitely get it. Definitely do. Even if you think you don't need it or if someone else needs it, definitely reach out for help. Because if I had not done that, I can't tell you where I'd be today. Because today I am happy. I'm on this call, which I would have never done 3 years ago. Honestly, if someone would have asked me to do this, I would have been like, you don't know me. Please get away from me. Don't touch me. Hand sanitizer everywhere. Please go away. I don't like people, but I do love people. I am a humanitarian at heart. And that's my biggest cause right now with my apothecary is our spirit collective. And which is basically, I feel like Ndulge is kind of like has been doing for a while, but with different organizations around like domestically helping women, and then now going global. I think that's amazing. But I'm basically working with a village of creative misfits standing together. I have creators that I have brought in that we're working together, we network with, and we're just kind of lifting each other up in times of uncertainty, times where we're all doubting ourselves, we're doubting our abilities, we're doubting how we're feeling inside, especially with what's going on with COVID. But just know that you guys are not alone. And you guys, when it comes down to choosing between dissolving and evolving, I hope you choose to evolve because I am Adrienne Mcarthur and I am evolving.